Here to help us decipher the confounding is legendary golf analyst David Feherty, who will actually be in Canada later this month with stops in Ottawa, Kitchener, Sudbury, and of course Mississauga. For more information, visit FehertyOffTour.com. David, welcome to Tim and Sid.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Storytelling is what you do basically better than anyone on earth.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Canadian angle before we dive into everything else. Your best Canadian golf story. Go.
Oh, wow. My best Canadian golf story is probably not tellable. I've got two or three that I can't tell on television. I may tell them in the shows that I've got coming up. But I just loved Mike Weir's win at Masters. You know, Mike had been a friend of mine for a long time, and on my hole at 15, he hit a fabulous short iron shot from off the downslope, and I got to say, "Oh, Canada," which was so cheesy, but it just seemed to fit.
I got to ask you, with Mike Weir in that spot, do you ever think that Canada is on the level of, I mean, we've seen guys from your home and native land reach the level of that. Do you see golf in Canada rising?
I do, actually. You know, players like Graham Dillette, who looks fantastic, Adam Hadwin, and there are more kids out there. They just keep getting better on both sides of the 49th, and it's about time for another Canadian player to make a move. I think Graham Dillette might be the one. I think, golf in Canada is in a good place.
David, let's go broader now in terms of what's going on right now in the world of golf. U.S. Open completed a couple of weeks ago. A broad question to you. What the hell was that at Chambers Bay? Was that good for golf or bad for golf?
It's a fair question. When the first time I saw the coverage, I actually asked my wife to call the cable company. I thought there was something wrong with the picture. It looked post-apocalyptic to me. The greens were like the vegetables, in the supermarket. I've never seen anything like it for a major championship. And the USGA did their best to, explain. But there were a couple of greens that were perfect that had been resown a couple of years ago, I guess. So I have no idea why it was like that. The golf course itself, I thought, was very interesting. And Fox's coverage of it, I thought they got better each day. It's a very difficult sport to cover, as I'm sure you know. 18 different arenas, all kinds of balls in the air at any given moment. I enjoyed it. I'd love to see that golf course in good shape and see what it looked like then.
We're going to get to Tiger in a flash, but I got to ask you, with all due respect to a fellow Northern Irishman, is Jordan Spieth the best golfer on planet Earth?
I'll tell you what, we've got two kids that are making professional golf look like a Harry Potter movie. Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth. And it kind of, pisses me off a little bit almost. You're not really supposed to be this good on the golf course and such great people off the golf course. You're supposed to have a little evil in you or something. They both, could be the nephews of St. Andrew. Jordan Spieth is really special, I'll tell you that. But he plays the game in a different way to Rory McIlroy, who just looks like Michelangelo's David playing. I've never seen anybody drive the ball better than that. And the thought of seeing them both, playing the best they can, maybe in a British Open, I think the game's in a great place.
Yeah.
David, what scared me after the U.S. Open watching Jordan Spieth on the podium is someone asked him, "How can you get better?" And he rhymed off about 7 things in a very serious tone. He wasn't being humble. He was being as serious as a heart attack. And we're entering St. Andrews in the British Open. I mean, it feels like he just played a links course in theory.
Yeah.
What do you tell this kid going into St. Andrews? I mean, it feels like he's already conquered the toughest majors course on tour this year.
Well, I'm not sure that you tell him anything. You just get out of his way and see what he does. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he wins it. In fact, I'd be kind of surprised if he's not right in there, come Sunday afternoon. He's one of those players, and it's interesting. You see coaches, teachers moving up and down the range, talking to their players. He's one of those players where he needs somebody who's going to have the you know, he's going to have this common sense to just get out of his way. Butch Harmon is kind of like that, where if a player's playing well, Butch doesn't feel the need to justify his own position by saying something. Most teachers do. So I think the hard part about teaching Jordan Spieth is just managing to zip it.
We know a lot.
Yeah,
we know a lot about golf coaches around here. Long story for another day. But I have to ask you, given Tiger's performance today, I mean, it's his lowest round in 16 months, lowest round on tour since 2013. What do you make of the news that Tiger putting in a first round at the Greenbrier?
Anytime he plays well, it doesn't surprise me at all. I'm still a believer. He's too stubborn, he's too talented, and he's too young, frankly, not to play well again. And people have forgotten what happens when Tiger Woods plays well. As good as Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth are, my children aren't going to see the likes of Tiger Woods. Their children probably aren't going to see that kind of golf. This is a guy who won a US Open by 15 shots, who won a Masters by 12, who won a British Open probably more than one by, was it 8 or 10? I mean, it's just ridiculous, the things that he did. And I was there with a front seat, you know, for all of that stuff. It was 10 or 11 years of like watching a creature from a different planet. It was absolutely amazing. And people have got real short memories. Yeah, you know, he's had a tough time over the last few years, but I'm a believer. The only time I've ever made a mistake with Tiger Woods is to underestimate him.
So to see what he did when we last saw him at Chambers Bay to what he's doing today, is that just golf then?
It is just golf, and it just shows you what's happened to Tiger. He's finally sort of become, his anxiety has become precious to him. And that's what happens with every golfer. It doesn't matter whether you're a 26 handicapper out there or the best player in the world. You get over a 4-foot putt, eventually you're going to worry about what happens if I miss this. And you don't pay attention to what you are doing. You pay attention to what might happen. And that's the key. You have to occupy the space that you're in. You've got to stay in the present, you know, and pay attention to the actual movement and forget about the result. At the moment, or certainly over the last couple of years, he's been more concerned with the result than he has with the motion.
Yeah.
The Feherty Off Tour is coming to Canada. Just another reminder, July 20th is when the tour kicks off. Last question, David. People who are thinking about coming to this, what should they expect?
I wouldn't if I were them. It's, you know, you expect to know me a little better, a lot better, actually, after the show is over. There's a lot about my life. There's some opinion, and I love being in Canada to be able to do this. This is where I started in Alberta, in Calgary and Edmonton were the first 2 shows that I did. I love the fact that Canadians are able to laugh the way that they do, a lot less politically correct, a lot more sophisticated, I think, with their sense of humor. And it shows as well the amount of comics that have come out of Canada, some fantastic talent. And it's wonderful for me to be able to go and do this. It's really, it stretches me. And it's a couple of shows it's broken me. So I'm not sure what to expect myself.
I think we're hoping for the exact same thing for this show out of Canadians. Really appreciate you doing this. A distinct pleasure for both of us.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is David Feherty.